100 Oklahoma High School Sports on this Monday morning. Everybody's still snowed in. Yes. We're going to keep it 100 today, folks. Keep it 100. Hope everybody's doing well with the snow and the ice that came in. We're going to talk a little high school girls and boys basketball. You know I have my girls show, but I'm going to have a special guest today. It's going to come on and help me with the boys. We're going to talk about the boys side. There's some big games coming up this week, folks. I know a lot of games are going to get canceled Tuesday night because of the weather. But like I said, Friday night's going to be hot. If it is snow on the ground, the gym's going to be hot. So it's going to make a lot of the snow melt because there's some big-time games going on here in our metro with the Mid-Dale teams. You'll have Midwest City boys and girls versus Carl Alber. And then you're going to have Newcastle boys and girls versus Dale City. Round two of that big matchup. But I'm going to have Jordan from the OSN join me today. And he's going to talk a little bit of high school girls and boys basketball with me to help me get educated. Even though I got my man, Coach V, give him the day off. But I'm going to bring in a guy that does a lot of high school sports himself, covers a lot of games, football and basketball. And so I'm going to bring Jordan to the stage. Here we go, folks. Here we go. There he is. What's up,
All right,
Jordan?
Tony, how you doing? Thanks for having me on.
Hey, not too bad. Trying to stay warm. I had another day off, so nothing better to do in my big time hobby I love to do is talk sports, and we get to come on here and talk to you about some of the big games that's going to come up this Friday night. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to get a chance to play Tuesday night because of the weather. So I figure everything's going to be ready to go for Friday night. What's going on, Jordan? How you been doing these last couple of days snowed in?
Oh, I've been really good. My normal weekend jobs, were canceled because of the weather. So I've just been catching up on my sleep, and it's been great.
That's nothing wrong with that. You're always on the go, from doing covering games and all that. So Jordan, I mean, for the listeners that don't know, I know a lot of people know who you are with OSN Sports, but for the people that don't know who you are, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and everything.
Yeah, I grew up in Lawton. Went to Lawton Christian School back in the day. Went to Oklahoma Christian University. That's where I started broadcasting, doing their boys and girls games with Dan Hayes as the head coach. Corey Cole, now the Norman boys coach. He was an assistant girls coach then, so I got to know him through that. Eventually went over to teaching and coaching a few years later. But I still stayed involved with broadcasting at the same time, doing the part-time stuff. And then I got hired at Midwest City High School, thanks to Dwayne Bradley as a boys assistant coach a few years back. The Oklahoma Sports Network partnered with Mid-Dale, or they agreed to a partnership later that spring during my first year there. I was fortunate to then get the gig to announce Midwest City's football games for the Oklahoma Sports Network. And then Coach Bradley left Midwest City for Noble over the pandemic. And I was not retained as an assistant coach. So I was like, okay, I'm going to switch over to doing basketball more for the OSN. And that's what I've been doing ever since and loving it.
That's a good job, man. I know you've done a good job. You cover a lot of the Mid-Dale teams, and I know Lawton too. So I know you're a big part of that OSN. I mean, I know they've branched out and gotten, I think they're up to 13, 14 teams now. That's big for the network, and that's good for for people that can't get out and watch the games. You guys can stream it, and then they can watch it from home. I know it does hurt getting kids and getting parents in the seats because, I mean, there's no better place than being at home watching a girls game or a boys game. But I think this Friday night, I don't think you're going to have that problem. I think everybody wanted to be there front and center. They picked out two great teams, really four great teams, because when you start talking about Dale City and Newcastle Part 2, then you got Midwest City for the first time. I think a lot of that's because of the football. Both teams, especially Carl Alber, to go in the playoffs and to go pretty deep. So I think both teams want to have all their bullets in the chamber when they go play this game. I know Coach Price love having his football guys back in Elijah and Austin. Folks, and see what happened. I don't know if his internet over there is bad, but we'll take a quick break after one of our sponsors. Keep it at 100 Oklahoma High School Sports. Right back.
The gang's the same, but we changed the name, and we're now Chaos Customs OKC. Still your one-stop shop for all your vehicle upfitting and accessory needs. With almost 30 years in the business, we're your go-to for lift kits, wheels, tires, spray liners, bed covers, leather, fleet solutions, and so much more. Give us a call today at 405 778 8878.
Welcome back to Keep. There you go. Got your back.
Yeah, I'm back.
What I was saying is that I know, like I said, this Friday night it'll be jumping because you'll have everybody in the stands wanting to watch these games. Midwest City and Carl's first time around because of the simple fact football probably kept them from playing earlier. You're looking at it, the Dell City Newcastle, they're going for the second time around, which it's gonna be a good game. I think Dell City girls, is playing excellent ball right now. I think Mariah's done a great job getting them in some big ball games and winning some big time tournaments. Winning the Norman tournament, and they just won the Bartlesville tournament. And then the other night when playing against Grind Prep, a good team that's here, probably one of the best players in the state of Oklahoma on their team. And so Mariah's done a good job getting those girls some big time games. And so I don't know who you want to start with first, Coach. You tell me.
Okay. Wow. Well, I'll just. It's all about this Friday, like you said. It's going to be a lot of action. I'm labeling this Friday Judgment Day. For me, the reason why I say that is I remember when I was in high school, there was one year in college football where they had 2 top 10 matchups on the same day. It was I think Michigan at Penn State. That's when Charles Woodson won the Heisman.
Yes, sir.
And also Florida State at North Carolina. When Mac Brown was first at North Carolina, he had a good year that year. And basically that stuck in my head as, that's when you have – because, you can't call it that for the playoffs because you have the playoffs every year. But when you have a unique day where you have not one but 2 big regular season games going on, and these are massive games, you celebrate that and you celebrate having 2 games going on at the same time. So – yeah, like you said, it's round 2 of Newcastle and Dell City. Newcastle's first year in 5A, but they are an Oklahoma Sports Network school. And I knew that they were going to have very good girls and boys teams. So I've got involved with streaming their games, including their first game against Dell City. So that is a 1 versus 2 matchup on the girls' side. And I actually would hype that game up to say that if I had to pick – the most likely finals matchup in 5A girls, I would predict Newcastle Dell City.
In the state championship?
In the state championship.
I think you're going to have a lot of people in the Mid-Dale area probably mad at you on this side of 15th and Poach, I think the Bombers going to have something to say about that thing, Coach.
They are.
Coach Malloy should say something a little bit about that, Coach Richie, too. I do think they're 2 the better teams, but I always believe in the Cinderella story. I always feel like the teams that you want to get there never really get there. Everybody wanted, in football, we want this team and that team. You always want, Carl Alber and Dell City, and it never happens that way. So now are you talking about 2 of the better teams? Yes, you are talking about a lot of firepower on Newcastle when you start naming some of the players they got, when you start looking at, Simmons, and you start looking at Richardson, and you start looking at Coloni, and then you're looking at Amara King. I think she's one of the best players in the 5A girls state in basketball. Hasn't got an offer yet. I'm still scratching my head on that. But I think when they do start coming in, they're going to be unbelievable. But Dell City said they got something to say about that. You got Sasha Hunt probably playing the best basketball in all the girls in 5A, besides I would say Jakari Brown. But I think Dell City is playing really good ball. We just had Miss Morgan on the show the other day. Had 24 points against Grind Prep. That's big time. And then you got McAllister. I think she dropped in 16 or 17. So I think there's a lot of good basketball going on in the Mid-Dale area. Those are 2 of the better teams. But like I said, we'll talk about them 2 first. But, I know Dell City let one get away at home against Newcastle, up by 13, ended up losing the ball game probably about 6 or 7. I think Dell City's a better team. They just lost Paris. I think they're learning how to play without Paris. So I think Dell City is on a mission. I just hope they haven't peaked too soon because, sometimes you just have that bad weekend. We all have that. It's like a bad hair day. So I just hope Dell City hasn't, peaked too soon. But I think Coach White got them going in the right direction. But I think Jim over there with Newcastle, I think, he took this team on and he got all the pieces. But now it's getting everybody to believe in each other because when you got that much firepower, sometimes it can be hard trying to share the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the reasons I like Newcastle is because you remember Jordan Richardson and
Yes,
Carl
yes,
Alber
yes,
last
yes.
year, and I would have thought of her as the Carl Albert's third best player. But with Newcastle, she's a really good player, but she doesn't. She's not nearly as aggressive on offense because she has to play point guard. And I would say I would put her as like the fourth best player on Newcastle,
Yeah.
because that big front court they have, they're not just big; they're skilled and so imposing. I mean, you got Kindred and King as these like 6'1", 6'2" guards, basically. Because they really do play the wing on offense, and yeah, they're just a very imposing team. And the thing is, of course, Tony, yeah, I mean, maybe saying that could ruffle feathers with Midwest City and Carl Albert fans, but only two teams can make it to the championship game.
Yes,
So you
sir.
got to pick, you got to leave some good teams out.
No,
Wouldn't shock me at all to see Carl Albert or Midwest City get to the state championship game either. By no means.
no. I mean, there's a lot of great teams. You still got Booker T. We didn't get a chance to see them up front at the
Yep.
classic, the Titan Classic because of the weather. I
We
think
got one game in from
one game in, but I'm saying a chance to see Carl Albert play. Because Carl Albert would either play them or Booker T in the finals. So.
Yes.
Sometimes it's good not to play them so they ain't got no film. They don't know what you're doing. You don't know what they're doing. I know people exchange film all the time, but when you play somebody, you really get the good feel of them. I always tell people when you beat a team by 10 to 15 points, how do you make up those 10 to 15 points? Now, you beat a team by 1 to 5 points, you can make those points up. It might be free throws, but when you beat a team by 15, 20 points, you're scratching your head figuring, how can I make up those points? So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens this week right here. This is a big week for Del City because they really got to get this win right here because it'll keep them right there and a chance to win district. The Middle City Carl Albert game, first time they both play each other. This is a unique matchup. I don't know who I can get an edge to, even though I have love for Carl Albert, but Middle City's a good team. What I'm saying? I mean, they got some good players. Brooklyn Henderson is a outstanding freshman guard. Already got 2 offers as a freshman. I think, Sadie Johnson's playing a really good ball right now. I'm just watching her knock down 3 after 3 after 3. Then you got the Walter sisters, Riri. Riri's played with my daughter, so I know a lot about them. And Coach Dre's got a chance to coach a lot of these girls. Promise comes on from Putnam City.
That's the big one.
Yeah, I was looking at, I was breaking down when I, before we got on this show, I started breaking it down. How deep they're going to go. Carl Albert, I think Carl Albert, they got some freshmen, but I think they're growing up though. I think when you got Audrey and Jakari Brown, I think you got two better senior players in the state that they both can go off for 30.
Agreed.
I mean, they both can go off for 25 to 30 points or even more. Audrey, I thought she played one of her best games the other night against BA. I thought she got inside a little bit more. And I think when she starts doing stuff like that, it really makes it tough down when you can get Jakari and then you can get, Zoe and Hayden Harold and Hatchet to knock down some threes. Then you bring in Sutton. I think Sutton's going to be a big piece come to Friday night's game. I know people probably scratch my head saying, why you say that? Because what she did in El Reno last year against Lily, I think we need a game like that from her. I know she started off the season starting, but now she's come to 6 man and taking it well. Like I said, I know her shot hasn't been falling like it can, but I just think it's going to happen. You don't stay in a shooter. Shooters don't stay in slumps. You got to keep shooting to get out that slump. So I really think Sutton's going to be a big key. And then the twins, because Middle City got the big. I think she's playing great ball. Watched her play the other night against Shawnee. I think she's playing.
Hodge.
Yes, I think she is playing. I think right now she's the key. She's the key to the puzzle because you can't, being 6'2", sometimes you're 6'2" and you're clumsy. She's not 6'2" and clumsy. She's starting to catch the ball and put the ball up. She rebounds real good. So that's going to be a big key right there. Can we keep them off the boards because of what happened in Dell when we played Dell? Got beat up on the boards real bad. But, can the twins grow up right there and keep around and do things like that? So how do you feel about that matchup?
Yeah, well, first I'll start with Maya Hodge, who actually interned for us for our football broadcasts in Midwest City. I have a couple of basic rules in high school basketball, probably more, but a couple that come to mind. One is a coach's kid can always shoot real well. And the second is soccer players are really good defenders in basketball because they move their feet well and are very quick.
That's it.
Maya Hodge is primarily a soccer player.
Yes, sir.
And she came back to basketball this year. She took a year off last year as a sophomore, and she's been a big addition. Her big cause is on defense. She obviously can clog up the paint, being 6'2", and then on offense, she is good on the offensive glass. You're right. She doesn't really look to score a whole lot. They don't need her to as of right now, and so she doesn't even start. It's going to be interesting to see how they do box her out. But usually, Kyle Ritchie is really good at coaching his team to play well against bigger teams because they usually are a smaller team. Talking about Carl Alber girls, and he and Coach Banks, his top assistant, they have them. They master the fundamentals of boxing out, of defending the post, of effective double teamings, help side defense. Carl Albert has always been, as long as I've been covering high school basketball the last 6 years now, one of the best teams fundamentally when it comes to defense. So, and Audrey Plunkett, to me, is still the best of all the players we talk about, is the best all-around player to me because of all the things she can do on defense. She'll wreak havoc at the top of the key if it's the top of a 1-3-1 zone. She can absolutely defend the paint and block shots, and then she can get out and run and score with the best of them. Jakari Brown, who you mentioned, as you know, in the Titan Classic, Audrey Plunkett in the first night reached the 1,000-point barrier.
Yes, sir.
And I asked Coach Ritchie, can Jakari Brown also, is it possible she could reach 1,000-point
She's
barrier?
96 points away, Coach. I just dropped a show on her yesterday, and it dropped this morning. You got to come check it out. It's what we do over Oklahoma high school girls between the lines.
She then responded with a big game that morning against Broken Arrow, and she's going to do it too. There's no doubt about it. Her offense has gotten better and better. I remember as a freshman, she was kind of like the fourth freshman off the bench for that group.
Yes, sir.
And now as a senior, she's a guard who can score in all three levels. And, of course, she plays good defense, so she gets involved in the transition game. So you're right. That is an unbelievable duo. And against Midwest City, I think Carl Albert's top two players are probably the best two players on the floor. Brooklyn Henderson will get there, obviously. She just got an offer from SMU, but she's only a freshman, so she's still learning some things. They got a lot of guards who can scrap and shoot. They don't have that shot creator like Carl Albert does. So, and from an experience standpoint, I probably would give a slight edge to the Titans in that game. But it's going to be close. It's really all these games we have coming up this Friday are toss-ups, and that's definitely one of them.
And it comes down to who's not gonna have turnovers, who's gonna be able to contain the runs. Because each team's gonna get on the run and get up probably by 5, 6, 7, maybe even 10. But who can come back from that? Who folds, who puts the 10 up and say, man, okay, we'll just get them next week. We'll get them next 2 weeks and on February, whatever day we play them again, the 17th, whatever day it is again. Who does that? Like I said, how the freshman's going to handle. You got a couple freshmen on the floor and Zoe Johnson, and like I said, Brooklyn Henderson, both starting for their teams as freshmen, which both has played a lot of AU ball, so they know what to do. And then Walters coming off the bench. I think she's been one of their top 3 scorers. Knocking down shots after shots, and then her big sister being her senior year. And Promise, like you said, Promise is another young lady that can handle the ball real well and does a really good job. So I think that's a big pickup for them. And then I tell you, I don't know when she's going to come back, but I think if she does come back, I think Midwest City will really dangerous if they ever get Bailey back. Guthrie, I don't know her status.
She's close. I don't know if she'll play this Friday, but she's close. She may play in the second game.
Yeah, so I think that'll help out a lot. Getting her back. I know she doesn't have probably the legs that a lot of these other girls have because she's been out for so long, but I think that gives you another good piece. I know, like I said, I know the big centers helped them a lot. I think that's been a big game changer because if you really look at, they don't have a lot of size. I think Brooklyn's the tallest player they got when you start looking at size, but I think with what Carl Albert's done, I thought they looked really good against Broken Arrow. I saw a lot of good things. You had three girls in double figures. Then you have the twins that's come in and done a good job, and Malia knocked down some free throws, and then Hayden. I mean, Hayden's is a piece that no one really talks about. Hayden, I know she's not very tall, but she's kind of like a pest. She's on you. You're trying to. I mean, she's on you, and if you don't get her off you, she's gonna end up stealing the ball. And guess what? You got an easy layup.
Yeah.
It's a transaction layup. So
she's so good at drawing fouls too.
Yeah. So it's gonna be
her 3-point shooting's gotten better. Yeah, I mean, I really like watching her play.
Yeah. And I tell you, I got to watch, Mississippi the other night against, UConn. And I mean, they just beat up on UConn bad. I think they even beat them by 30, but 7 had a good game. I mean, knocked down some good jump shots. So when you're starting to get those girls to do those kind of things, man, I think both teams is coming in really, really hot. I mean, I'm not going to pick because, I do a podcast, I want to say Carl Alber, yeah. But I'm a realist, though, because anybody can win that ball game, I mean, you got to go put on your shoes. You got to dribble the ball. It's going to come on turnovers, foul trouble. We can't have silly fouls. So, and Coach Richie and Coach Malloy, they're really good friends. I know they're gonna, I mean, at the end of the day, hey, we friends, but I want to beat you, and he wants to beat her, and she wants to beat him. But like I said, it's going to come down to X's and O's and who can get them done and not make the mistakes. If you have turnover after turnover after turnover, guess what? That's extra possession for the other team. So it's going to be a really, really interesting game. And when it comes to those two girls teams this Friday night at 6 a.m. Folks, you better get there early. We're going to have a special guest in the house, too. I'm going to give a shout-out to YSK Cameron Kennedy from the YSK podcast will be in the house on Friday night checking out the game. Like I said, a young man that just probably hit his 100 million views, followers, whatever it is. I don't do that kind of stuff, Coach. They do that TikTok, but they'll be in the house on Friday night, him and K-Rob. So, come by and see him and get a picture taken with him. But like I said, big game coming this Friday night, Coach. I'm excited. So, Jordan, which game are you going to cover now? Because you got two good ones.
I do, but I have a rule when it comes to when we have two games going on at once. Usually this takes place, this goes into effect for area weekend, but it will apply this weekend coming up as well, and that is where 2 or more Mid-Del teams are gathered, there I am with them. So that's Midwest City, Carl Albert. Josh Calloway, who I call a lot of games with, he's great at announcing basketball as well as football and baseball, whatever he wants to announce. He'll go down to Newcastle. He's a normal Newcastle football announcer. And real quick about the broadcast. So Josh will be introducing a new color commentator for basketball, at least for the Oklahoma Sports Network. His name's Dion. I forget his last name, but we'll just leave it a mystery. So you guys, that'll be something to enjoy when you tune into that game. Because before this year, I've been the only color commentator for basketball for the network, at least up here in the Metro. And then for our game, this is such a big game that Kirk Norman, the Carl Albert football announcer, is going to join me. At least that's the plan right now. And then we're going to use a sideline reporter, which we don't normally do for basketball. But this is not a normal game, of course. So we're going to have Gordy Jones do some live interviews for us for our broadcast.
Yes, sir. He's done a great job. I know he's always critiquing himself and all that. He's done a really, really good job. When he coming on, I know he did a lot of the Dell City games this year, even though his kid plays at Carl Alber, and that's what dedication is all about. I think you guys do a great job, man. I mean, I know you guys are getting more and more involved with the OSSA. Like I said, we do this platform. Me and Coach Vic started. I've always had Keep It 100 about 5 years. So usually I do more football on here, but since we're going to talk girls and boys basketball, that's what I did on Keep It 100. Like I said, we started Oklahoma High School girls basketball between the lines about a year ago. It's doing really good. I mean, we just had some good girls on it. It's always hard to try to cover everybody. Everybody wants to be on there. And we had a dad yell at us the other day, "You don't cover the Northeast Oklahoma." I was like, man, I mean, it's only 2 of us. We can't. You guys got more people though. You know what I'm saying? But it's hard for us to try to cover all that. But Vic has done a great job. He's the head basketball coach at Harris. So not only does he coach basketball, and I have a full-time job, but we do try to get out and interview different girls. But like I said, we really appreciate what you guys do, getting the games covered, because like my daughter lives in Texas, so she gets to watch a lot of the games when you guys cover it. So we do really, really appreciate that. Let's get on these boys real quick, because I know the other night you was talking about the Midwest City boys against Carl Alber boys. I think that's going to be a big-time matchup, but I think Carl Alber got just too much for the Bombers. I mean, I love my man Noel. He's like family, but I just think Coach Price got the guys, man. I think Midwest City's a time. I know they got beat the other night against Edmond North. Don't ask me where they was. They must have been sleepwalking. They must have been playing the zombie game, because they was not awake. And Edmond North played a great game. But I tell you right now, I guarantee Jay Price gave him a piece of his mind after that game, though.
Yeah, so it was literally a difference of night and day. At night, Carl Albert played a bad game against Edmond North. There was just no one was stepping up on offense for him against Edmond North zone. And then the next morning, and I'm literally mean morning, it was a 10:30 tip-off.
Yes,
They took on Piper, Kansas. I really liked what I saw from Piper, Kansas the day before, even though it took them overtime to beat Edison Prep. Edison Prep's a good team.
good team.
And I thought that Piper had spurts, including in overtime. They dominated overtime where they looked like a very complete team. And it was just a completely different Carl Alber team in that morning game. And, yeah, they showed all the indications of a team that could really go far. They had many players step up. Brandon Rogers really responded after he got a technical I didn't agree with. And then he hit his next 3 threes. He was like, "You're going to tee me up, huh?" So he showed me something there. In the case of Midwest City, they've won. I know his players changed, but they won the last 2 playoff games against Carl Albert. And I think that they won those games because their team defense, their team speed really kept Carl Albert off rhythm, especially last year. So, yes, Carl Albert's able to reload effectively. They got a really good freshman class. This is the first time I've seen them play freshmen in their rotation since I've covered the team for the last 5 or 6 years. And they give them a big boost. Obviously, Jax Wilkerson, Cordray, Catch Manley, Johnson, Gibson Johnson, really good. Last time I called a Midwest City game, they played what I would say is the 3rd best team in that district, Lawton High.
Mm-hmm.
And they looked really good in that game until they had a bad end of the game, but it was kind of over at that point. They got up by as much as 28. And Caleb Stevens has shown to be a good second scorer for that team.
Yes, sir.
So I feel like they have the pieces too. It's just kind of like, well, what team are we going to see? Are we going to see the Carl Albert team that lost to Edmond North, or the Carl Albert team that beat Piper? Or are we going to see the Midwest City team that played awesome against, I think is still a very solid team in Lawton High? Are we going to see a Midwest City team that kind of struggled against Coweta? I can dismiss one struggle. UConn's not that great at the moment either. They beat them by 6, but I thought they controlled that game. I don't know what happened against Coweta, but they only won by a point. That's too bad because of weather. We couldn't see them play Broken Arrow in the championship game, but that's just what happened with the weather. So it'll be interesting to see both teams. If Midwest City has no game scheduled this week other than the Friday, they don't have a Tuesday game. And like you said, more than likely, Carl Albert's game at Guyman will be delayed, pushed back. So they're just going to be – I'm sure they're still practicing. Basketball teams still practice when there's weather cancellations. Okay, that's one thing I learned coaching in Midwest City. The school may get canceled. Practice does not get canceled.
But they sent a deal out this morning saying nobody can get in the gym. I mean, Zoe just
okay.
I
didn't know that.
Can we go shoot? And I said, we can't get in the gym, so I'm about to find another spot. But like I said, I think with Carl Albert, though, with Coach Price, man, I know he's been there for a while, but I tell you, he got some guys that can go. I mean, he can go with 5 or 6 different lineups and not miss a beat before Elijah and the football guys, LeBron Royal. And then I tell you, a kid that I really like a lot that don't probably get a lot of credit is the Darian Thomas kid. He's a great football player, but also a great basketball player. I think I don't know if he plays down low, he plays a guard, but he does it all, man. He's kind of like, he reminds you of Vinnie Johnson with a Charles Barkley body, he can just go. And then I know Gibson Johnson hit the 30. I know he's still trying to find his way. And I just kind of told him, once you hit 30 points, not 30 points, but 10 3-pointers, everybody in the state gonna know who you are. So they're gonna cover you. I don't care. They're gonna throw the kitchen sink at you, they're gonna throw the stove at you, they're gonna throw everything at you. But like I said, you talk about Catch. I think that's a young man that's up and coming. I think he's just a sophomore. Got a real touch. His game is kind of like Gibbs. They both can shoot outside. Brandon Rogers is a kid that I really like a lot. And Jordan Hawkins. I really love this young man. You're talking about somebody that can jump out of the gym. Now, if you usually have a dunk contest, I will put him as my favorite to win. But like Elijah, I got to give it up to Elijah. Even though he's a Gatorade Player of the Year, Max Prep Player of the Year in football, but I think right now he's playing really, really good basketball. He's a guard, but he's a guard, but has a body like a post player, a power forward, because he's so strong and big. So when he had those little guards guarding him, he can do what he wants to do. So that's why I think Carl Alber is going to shock a lot of people if they get to the state, because I think they match up. They beat Edison Prep up there in Lincoln Christian tournament. Got beat by Mustang, but the two teams they lost to has been 6-8 teams. Probably shouldn't have lost to Edmond North, which is a good team. They had a good guard. I mean, I think Carl Alber kind of struggles when you got a guard that can move like that. So he did a good job not only making his own shots, but creating shots with other people. So I think Coach Price, I think he feels good where he's at. I think, you do lose some guys. You lose LeBron, and I think that might be and Brandon Rogers, but either at that time Catch or Gibson or anybody else can step up and get that. I think we talked about Wickerson. I still think he's trying to figure the game out. He's so big. But, once he figured out that, hey, I can start dunking on people, he's going to be hard to control. I know we talked about Wyatt, he's another good freshman kid, can dunk from any side. But I think his biggest thing is kind of slowing down the game and letting the game come to him. Once he figured that all out, he's going to be unstoppable too. So Price got some good pieces here for the next few years. And then that little sixth grade class with Lenny Hatchett coaches, that's a good little team. So Carl Alber ain't going to fall off the map here in the next few years in boys basketball. Girls struggle a little bit. You lose two stars players and then Plunkett and then but that's how it is. Every school loses players, and kids move in, kids move out, and you just kind of take what you got and rebuild from there.
Yeah, I think Jordan Hawkins is also a senior, but
yeah, Jordan.
If we're looking at the next year, I would love Carl Alber on the boys' side, and there's a lot more uncertainty with Midwest City. I got to get more familiar with Dell City's players as they take on Newcastle. I mean, I've done their games, but they'll have some. They'll come on. Shaw will be a senior. They'll miss for sure, and a couple others. And Newcastle, they got a lot of transfers that are on the boys' side that are seniors.
Yes,
and so there'll be a lot of uncertainty with them. But no, Carl Alber with this core group of freshmen and sophomores and having Elijah back and Austin Johnson, I definitely feel like he's a tremendous all-around basketball player.
Yes, sir.
So they'll have a lot of pieces, But as far as the game coming up Friday, I guess I'm willing to say, like, I give so and so a slight edge, even though I'm calling the game. But I'm also, realize this could be a total toss-up. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not sure about any of it. I guess with Midwest City, I still like their chance a little bit because I think they still will have the best player on the floor because Deshaun Denson.
He is. We didn't talk about him yet. Let's talk a little bit about him.
He's put up some tremendous numbers. He's averaging about 25 plus points a game, I believe.
About 25 points a game, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not just three-point shooting. And in fact, I think he could probably shoot better. They need to have an efficient shooting night from him, probably from three, which he can do. But he's really good at getting to the free throw line. He's got the mid-range game, and he moves so well without the ball. He knows when to cut, and he can finish with his left hand. There's still a lot of players at this level that are not comfortable finishing with their offhand around the basket. That's not Deshaun Denson. He is very comfortable with his left hand, and he was tremendous in the playoff game they played last year, the area consolation game. And so, there's just certain basketball concepts you go with when it comes to trying to size up a matchup. And one of the things you got to look at is which team has the best player on the floor. And that is Midwest City, I think. Carl Alber has spreads out there scoring more, which they're really good at. So you don't know who's going to step up, but that's probably a good thing for them. But for Midwest City, even though teams target Deshaun Denson, they know number 5 is going to get the ball and try to make things happen. He still makes things happen, even though teams know what's coming with him. So and that's actually a very nice contrast as far as those teams go, which is one of the things I'm looking forward to for when it comes to watching them play.
Yeah, no, like I said, I like the Denson kid. Does he have any offers, man? I'm telling you right now, he's a young man that, I'm telling you, he plays really hard, and he might need to get in the weight room before he gets in college. But I tell you right now, he has big time game, and everything you're saying is true. He can shoot free throws, he can get to the hole. That's mid range, and like you said, everybody throws everything at him, but he finds a way to score, and that's what you are. When you're the best player on the floor, you find ways to score. It happens in college. It happens in the pro, So when you think you got, a guy stop, guess what? He turned around doing a spin on you, dunking or getting to the bucket. Now you got a foul, so now he's going for a 3-point play. So he is the best player on the floor. I like to see who Price shots puts on him. I'm really worried about that. I figured it'd probably be Jordan Hawkins. He'll put on him. I mean, he's probably gonna throw 2 or 3 different guys. The guy that came the other night and did a really good job on defense was Jackson Webster. I know he's not a scorer, but he did a really good job the other night coming in the game and causing some havoc. So you probably could see him in the game trying to be a defensive stopper and putting that big body on him because he's a football player himself. But like I said, it's gonna be a good game. I mean, I don't think you're gonna walk out that, hey, I think whoever comes that game on Friday night, you're gonna get your money's worth from both games. I mean, I think both teams gonna put on the show. And then you got
that guy Jackson Webster story.
Yes, sir.
Okay, just to add to what you're saying about his big body, my enduring memory of him, and I've called a lot of his games across different sports, even football when Carl Alber played Midwest City. But my memory of him, my most enduring memory of him is in baseball when we were calling their round 1 championship or state tournament game up at Sapulpa versus Pryor. And a Pryor player hit a deep ball to left field, and Jackson Webster in left field, and he went all out for that ball. He just barely missed it. It was a home run, but he crashed into the wall, and my goodness, was it loud. I mean, you talk about a thud that he smashed that wall. He got hurt, but he stayed in the game though. And I'm like, oh man, that was like a football hit, and it's a sound I'll never forget.
Yeah, I mean, you started talking about his last name, Webster, no cool. I mean, he's related to those guys. Those are big time names that in Carl Albert's, family tree. So, he comes from a good background. So, love the kid, man. He's kind of quiet. He's played 7-on-7 for me before. I love his mom. His mom's a great person. I know she used to help coach.
I work with his mom. Yeah.
So, good people. Like I said, kid's an outstanding player. Love watching him on the football field. You talking about that kid can catch anything. I've been with him and Anderson when they've worked out, and you can throw a BB at the kid and he'll catch it. I mean, he got hands. I mean, he got real soft hands. Most kids use gloves these days. Not this young man. He uses his regular hands. I love to see that because everybody think you got to buy these sticky gloves to catch everything. Not Jackson. He uses his regular hands. Yeah. Anything else you want to cover before we get out of here?
Oh, just the Dell City Newcastle game. This is the only of the boys game. It's the only one of the 4 games that we have that is not 1 versus 2 or 1 versus 1 in the case of the Midwest City Carl Albert teams, because all those teams are undefeated in district play. Dell City Newcastle girls is 1 versus 2 in the district 1. But Class and SAS is a really good team. They knocked off Newcastle. So this Dell City Newcastle game is actually 1 versus 3, but it's still a massive game. And Newcastle could really make a logjam happen if they could somehow win at home. And they got some really good athletes. They're not as deep as Dell City, though. I thought Newcastle played better than Dell City for most of that first game. And there was another technical foul. I guess I'm just against technical fouls because there was a technical foul called on TJ Williams for Newcastle, a really skilled 6'8" player who I would say, hey, you need to be more aggressive on offense, young guy, because you can do it all. He got called for a technical for hanging on the rim that I did not agree with, and that kind of went along with Dell City's late run. I'm not saying that would have changed the outcome, but Dell City ended up winning by 4. And so, if Newcastle can beat Dell City by 4 points or more, which would maybe put the tiebreaker in their place if there is a tie or something like that, that's going to really create a logjam that will make the stretch run interesting. And we are hoping to do both Dell City and Newcastle's games at Class and SAS as well. But a lot's riding on that Dell City Newcastle boys game as far as who's going to host and who's not going to host. Because as you know, teams that make state in basketball, most of the time they host regionals.
Yes, sir.
And that's kind of what's at stake in the Dell City Newcastle boys game.
I know Coach has done a good job coming over from Lawton, man. I love his energy that he brings. I don't know a lot of his players. Like I said, I know he has the young man that plays football. Is it Black Wolf?
Caleb Blackwolf. Yeah, he's really good.
Big time player on football in basketball. I know he's helped him win some ball games. I know he did a really good job at the Bishop McGinnis tournament. I know With Lenny, I knew a lot of players, like, because I did a lot with Robert Jones when we did the coaches show with him. But like I said, I don't know a lot about the Newcastle guy. I know Jesse's a great coach, and like I said, I know the Lawton guy comes over with a lot of experience in coaching up the Lawton. So don't know much about the boys' side. I was hoping I could piggyback off you on this one, but like I said, should be a good game. I know when I watched it the first time around, I really thought Newcastle had the edge on Dell City, but Dell City found a way to win the ball game. And that's why, like I said, you can't pick a winner because all you got to do is go play good ball. And, Newcastle had the size and everything, but Dell City found a way to win. And that's how these other 3 games could go with the girls and the boys. It never know. I mean, same way with the girls of Dell City and then Newcastle. Newcastle girls had the sides and Dell City had the lead and then found a way to give it up and hit some big shots at the end of the game. I think Jordan hit a 3 to tie the game up, and then after that it was over. It was all Newcastle. So, but I think Sasha and Raina and Lewis and all them, Tori, I think they all have something to say. I think they'll be more focused. Like I said once again at the beginning of the show, I said Coach White has done everything to get these girls ready for this, and they're bought in. Before Dell City would always have a little bit of drama with the girls, but I think Coach Wright got them all on the same bus, and everybody is singing the same song, and that's what it's all about. If you can keep that drama out the house, it goes a long way. And that's why I was kind of telling somebody the other day about the Carl Alber girls. I feel like they're starting to play good together. Beating the Broken Arrow team the other night's a big-time win for them going into this Millwood City game. It gives Richie a big win for the year, lost the game up in the college of the tournament to Dell that ended up winning the tournament. So had that team down by 13, should have won that game, but went up to Arkansas and played in the Tournament of Champions. I think that was kind of the first tournament for all the girls, and I think everybody's trying to feel themselves out. Where do I stand? When do I shoot? When do I not shoot? But I think now they're all starting to believe in each other, getting the ball to one another. And I don't have to. I'm gonna give up this shot to give you a better shot. So, and that's what it's all about. You gotta play team ball. Team ball is one with a team, not just one person. So I think that's what a lot of these teams are at. I think that's what Dell City's at. After them losing Paris, you would have never thought they would be at this point, but. I mean, they're playing great ball. Girls have stepped up and done their job, easy. All these girls is coming in. Tori, I mean, all these girls is doing their part. And, got McAllister scoring more now, and then, like I said, Sasha just been on fire. I think Sasha, she's playing great ball. She played like this her last 2 years, man, you wouldn't be worried about where she's going to go because she'll have numerous offers already.
I can think of a few players I've enjoyed watching more than Sasha Hunt-Smith. I got to call her game in the first round of the playoffs against Duncan 3 years ago when she was a freshman, and she scored 31 points and just did it from all over the place. And, absolutely. And the great thing about Coach White for Dell City girls is she's rebuilt their bench because their bench will suffer with Paris Baker being out.
Yeah.
And, Smithers is their top player off the bench, but she's incorporated 2 or 3 other players like Uzi who have given Dell City that depth back. So, yes, the way they respond to that loss to Newcastle has been unbelievable, winning the Norman tournament, like you said, Bartlesville tournament.
I mean,
and so, yeah.
Those are big wins, Coach, big wins.
Big wins. And so for all these games we have coming up Friday, no outcome would surprise me. I am not sure of anything. I don't mind making guesses because, this is fun. So I don't think I'll rile up a team too much if I guess against them because that's all it is. It's a guess. It's just a guess.
Everybody does it, Coach. I mean, there's all different kind of podcasts that talks about this. There's been some great basketball here in the state of Oklahoma. You had the Millwood and Booker T game. You had the Millwood and Douglas game.
Yeah.
One thing about I know we don't cover the non-Mid-Dell teams, but Millwood's boys is pretty fun to watch. Knocking off Booker.
They're the best team in the state.
Yeah, and so I mean that's what it's all about. I mean, Crossing. I thought Crossing will lose a little bit, but they're still a good team. So Douglas, I don't know if Douglas is what he used to be. I know we're talking about Oklahoma City teams, but I don't think Douglas is what he used to be. PC North is a good team too. So there's a lot of great basketball here in the state of Oklahoma. That's why our girls are starting to get recruited and our boys are getting recruited because, you don't have to go to Texas. I mean, there's great basketball. There's great basketball players here in the state of Oklahoma. So we just got to keep doing our thing. Anything else, Jordan? Like I said, I love to do this again before we get in the state, man. It's maybe, recap again at the end of the February or 1st of March. I will be doing a show out at Dick's Sporting Goods. Me and Coach Vic will be out there doing our road to the gold ball to the new house. And so love to have you come out there and sit in with us on that too. I think it'd be a good idea. I mean, a great great fix having you with us, man. That'd be good to have three guys that, talk girls and boys basketball. Like I said, I know you know a lot. So I love to piggyback off anybody, man. I don't know everything. I don't know half of what you guys know. I just I pretend like I know, but at the end of the day, man, you guys are the GOATs. I'm just the guy learning to try to get to where you guys are at.
See, I just focus on 5A West. That's pretty much. I keep my eyes open for 5A East, obviously, because at some point you'll play them, and 6A as well. But I narrow my focus. But I respect what guys like you do. You guys spread your focus out to all these other classes, and that comes with its own challenges. But yes, I would love to. You let me know when you're doing something live like that, and I would love to join you.
Well, we appreciate you, Jordan, man. Like I said, thanks for coming on. Folks, it's Keep It 100. I haven't done Keep It 100 in a while, so Jordan, you're special. You get to come on with me. I haven't done it in a while, man. I've been doing so much Oklahoma high school girls, but I love to get on my Keep 100. I still got people that follow me on both, but it was good to get on here today. And when you said, hey, let's do it, I was all about it. I'm off today. So nothing better than spend my Monday afternoon talking high school girls and boys basketball. But Jordan, I appreciate you coming on, man. We'll catch you next time. And I'll see you this Friday night. Come over and say hi to you, okay?
All right, we'll do. Thank you for having me on, Tony.
Thank you. Well, folks, that's Jordan, the outstanding beat writer. I don't know, what would you call Jordan? I guess he's the head of the man of OSCN Sports. Does a great job covering all the sports here in Middale. I mean, with the football, basketball. I mean, he knows his stuff. He's coached the game, so it's always good to have somebody come on the show like that helps me and educates me. Like I said, he knows it's going to be a good game this Friday night. He had a choice to probably cover Dell City, Newcastle. I know he's done that one, but he gets to cover Billwood City, Carl Alber. Two great teams that's going to go at it this Friday night. So like I'm going to tell you once, I'm going to tell you twice. Get there early, get your seat. There's going to be a lot of action. There's still going to be any snow on the ground. Both of those teams, all four of those teams, haven't melted by the time you get to your car after the game because just of the action they're going to do. Getting up and down the court. It's big time. So I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm excited about this Friday night. Like I said, should be some great basketball played up here at Carl Alber Gym. Like I said, they'll have JV games, so get there early. They'll probably kick off about 3:40. The girls will kick off. Then the JV boys will follow. Then the high school girls will kick off at 6, and the boys will follow right after the girls by about 7:15, 7:30. So get there. Come check it out. And like I said, thank you, everybody that tunes into Oklahoma. I keep saying Oklahoma. It's not Oklahoma. Everybody that tunes in to Keep It 100 Oklahoma High School Sports. I do have Oklahoma in it, but Keep It 100 Oklahoma High School Sports. We'll catch you next time. See ya. I'm out.